Growing up in the suburbs of Long Island, I was an athlete who had this deep spiritual passion and a deep obsession with Judaism and a spiritual practice. Even as a young kid, I remember loving the music in synagogue. I remember loving sitting next to my dad as he harmonized or as he kibbutz. By the time I was 18 years old, I was the kid voted most likely to flip out if I went to Israel. And so sure enough, I went to Israel and I went to the yeshiva. I'd already become so religious that when I came home to visit my parents, I think I scared the crap out of them. But it felt intuitively that this was not my path. I'd just been sitting and studying 2,000-year-old Aramaic, and I wanted to feel more alive again and more like myself. I moved to New York City, and a whole period of, I would say, rejection of Judaism, which was very connected to the body. I returned to hockey, to immersion in yoga. I was toying with becoming a Buddhist monk. Eventually, I came to a place where I said, why do I have to leave yoga in one part of my soul and my yearning for Jewish mystical practice in another place? A friend says to me, I think I know who you need to meet. You know, that was it. I met Reb Zalman and he changed my life. The first thing he said to me was, your rebellion was rooted in a holy yearning. And he was saying, this is Judaism 7.0. I wanted to be a liberal rabbi. I wanted to create a shul. But there were like 50 synagogues on the Upper West Side. It's crazy, right? We borrowed a Torah from B'nai Jeshurun. He had these big postcards. I took about 1,000 of those cards, and I stood for weeks until I got rid of those 1,000 cards. You know, it's like, hey, we're starting a shul. Hey, we're starting a synagogue. And for the first Shabbat, I bought enough coffee for 30 people, and 150 people came. We eventually moved to 114th Street, Broadway Presbyterian Church, and then to an affiliate of the YMCA on 105th Street, a very intimate gymnasium. I hired a musician, and this became 200 people. It's like 3 or 4 rows back. We really began to congeal as a community. People were dancing everywhere, right? In between chairs, they just folded a chair and moved it. We would pray, and then potluck, fold the chairs. And I thought, we're gonna elevate, we're gonna rise up. And the word Romemu means to rise up. And then we moved literally across the street into West End Presbyterian Church.